this lesson you are going to learn some extra considerations that you can use to help make that final decision on your 3 hot opportunities if you are having trouble. If you are stuck trying to pick your 3 hot opportunities, then there are some other factors you can use to help you make the decision. So if you have decided on 1 or 2 of your hot opportunities but are struggling to pick the final 1 or 2, this will help you make that choice easier. These considerations are about the competition for the products and are intended just to help you make that final decision. However, please remember that all your hot opportunities are viable at this stage. You won't know for certain until you've been through Module 3. And as I've said before, the absolute worst case scenario is you might have to come back to your list should Module 3 show that the ones you have chosen are not the ideal choice of product. Now, you have already looked at reviews in terms of numbers as a marker for competition. However, you can take this a step further and look at them more closely. You can examine the rating, how recent the reviews are, and even the quality. So let's go to Amazon and take a look. So here we are at Amazon, and the first 3 examples I'm going to show you are all about reviews. And I'm just going to use 3 of the ones from our initial list. Now, we know it's got 222 customer reviews. We can see that in the reviews below the title. However, what you can also do, put your mouse over the stars and it will actually tell you the rating it has. You can see the average rating for this product is 4.7 out of 5 stars. That is exceptional. So you want to make a note of that. Remember, we're assuming that for the sake of this example, the first 3 products we look at, we literally can't choose between them, and we need to pick 1 or 2 of them to make up our total of 3 hot opportunities. So we've done that one, as I said, 4.7. We go to the coffee grinder, and again it's got a good number of reviews at 316, but we put our mouse over the stars, we can see it's 4.5. That's still a very good rating. So we'll take a look at our third example, which is the snore strap. You can see it's only averaging 3.5, which is actually quite a low rating. So if it was a choice between these 3 products, this one might be a very good choice because it has a much lower rating, which means if we launch our own chin strap and make sure it's better than this one, then we're going to get better reviews and it's going to be much easier to compete. So that's how you actually look at ratings as a way of making your mind up. But there's another factor you can look at with reviews as well. If we click on the actual customer reviews, it takes us down to the bottom of the page where the reviews are. And there's 2 things we're interested in here. First of all, most recent. Now with these 3 products, I'm assuming that they're all being actively marketed because of their position in the ranking. So the odds are they're all going to have recent reviews. And if I scroll down, we can see 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, 6 hours ago, 6 hours ago, 15 hours ago. So you can see they're getting a lot of recent reviews. Now if you were comparing this to another product and their reviews were 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, 30 days ago, basically not as active, not as current, then that might be a better product to go for. I have a feeling all these 3 products are going to be similar, but let's take a look to make sure. We click on the reviews, scroll down, and sure enough, 18 hours, 1 day ago, 1 day ago, 1 day ago. So you know that this one's active too. And lastly, we scroll down again, and as you can see, 7 hours, 1 day, 1 day, 3 days, 3 days. So they're all pretty active. So if you had to choose between these 3 on how recent the reviews were, there isn't anything to choose. But there's one last factor, and that's the quality of the reviews. If we look at this first review, you can see we've got a video review. Video reviews are very, very good. If you come across a product that's got video reviews, then the odds are they are being very active with their marketing to get this kind of review. So it would tend to mean that it's going to be more competitive. If we look at the next one, you can see it's got a video review as well. And if we go to the snores, we can see it hasn't. Again, I would go with the snore strap because the quality of the reviews aren't quite as good. But it's a minor thing. It's literally a last-ditch tiebreaker if you want to call it that. So that's basically a way of looking at reviews as a way of trying to help you decide on which product you're going to go with. Again, if you're trying to compare 2 or 3 products and you need to pick 1 or 2 of them, this is a good way to start. But you can combine all the things in this lesson as a way of making that final choice. This lesson is literally trying to get you over any hump you might have about picking your 3 hot opportunities. So we've had a look at review analysis, so let's look at something else. Now you're going to find it much easier to evaluate listings once you've been through module 4 and learned how to optimize your own product listing. However, you can still use listing quality as a mark of competition. You just need to switch from seller mode to customer mode. And the first listing element you are going to look at is the images. And with the images, there are 2 main aspects to evaluate. Firstly, the quality of the images themselves, and secondly, the number of images. Okay, so we're back at Amazon now, and we're going to start off by looking at images. Now, the first 2 products I'm going to show you are essentially the same product, but they're a really good example of the difference between images. So, if you see this product here, it's got this awesome big image. It's covering 90% of the box. It's really, really big. And all we're interested in initially is the main image. In other words, in the search pages, this is the one that will show up. And because it's so big in terms of the space around it, it means it's going to stand out on the search pages too. So if I saw this type of image on a product, I would automatically assume that these people know what they're doing and that they've got a really good image, and it's probably going to be harder to compete with them. However, if we look at the next one, again, it's Raspberry Ketones. And before any of you jump to go and check it out, Raspberry Ketones is on our products to avoid list. But if we look at this, it's still not a bad image, you might think. But you see, it's a lot smaller. It's not filling up the space nearly as much as the previous one. And so if you looked at the search pages for these 2 products, the previous one is going to stand out far more than this one. And because of that, I would probably assume that it's going to be easier to compete with this one, which has the poorer image. And the other factor we wanted to look at was the number of images. You can see they've got 1 image of their product, and then they've just actually got an image of their label. Okay, so it's just 2 images. And let's face it, even if the bottle was okay, having the image of the label, it's pretty poor image-wise. Think of it as a shopper. Would you be impressed? However, if we go back to the other one, you can actually see they've got 7 images. And these images are awesome. They're very big, and they've also got context. You can see that they're using models with their actual product. And these are very, very good images. As you can see, again, they're really big. And compared to the other product, really impressive. And just the fact that they're using 7 images as opposed to 2 would again make me believe that this is a seller I would have to work harder to compete with. So if 2 of my products had this kind of a difference between their images, then there is no doubt I would actually go with this product because it's only got 2 images, one of which is pretty mundane. Okay, so we've looked at image quality and number. So what is next? The second important element is the title of the listing. Now, while you have not seen how to optimize a title ASM style yet, again, that will come in module 4, you can still have an opinion on how good a product title is. A title that just has the product name is not a good title, but one with extra info is. So let's go back to Amazon again. So to show you the differences in titles, I'm actually going to use the same product as we used before for the first one. This is the one, remember, that had the really good images and used all 7. Well, you can also see their title. It's a nice long title. It's 2 full sentences, and you actually have to click on the down arrow to see the full title, which means they're trying to use the maximum they can. You can see it's got the name of the product to start. In other words, Pure Raspberry Ketone Pills, 500 milligrams. But then it actually continues on. 60 capsules for fast weight loss, potent fat burner, amazing energy booster and mood lifting supplement. No side effects, become slimmer and happier. Okay, so it's the product title, but it's also giving more information and especially benefits. Because of that, I'm going to assume this seller knows what they're doing. They're pretty savvy. So I'm going to assume as well that they're going to be more difficult to compete with. Whereas, if I was looking at a different product to compare, like a coffee pot, and their title is Mr. Coffee 12 Cup Carafe Black. Okay, that's pretty much the most basic title you could possibly have. It literally is just the product, and is a poor title. So if it was just down to title alone, I would probably go after this one. But remember, these are just tiebreaker considerations. You don't base your entire choice on this. These are just considerations you can use to help break a tie you might have with 2 or 3 products in your hot opportunities list. So another way of evaluating product competition is to simply look at the number of competing products. To do this, just use your main keyword and search Amazon, exactly the same way as we did when we were looking for similar products. Then count how many competing products there are in the ASM BSR range we gave you for the primary product. So if you were stuck, perform this search, record the number of competing products that fall within our BSR range, and when comparing it against another product you've done the same thing for, then simply go with the lowest number to make that choice. And that is it for this lesson. But just to recap, all these considerations are just there to help you make that final decision if you are stuck between 1, 2, or 3 products. And again, and I've said this over and over again, and I'm going to say it one more time, do not panic if you take your 3 hot opportunities into module 3 and end up finding out that none of them are going to work as well as you want them to, because you've still got other products to look at. Come back and look at those. You are going to need to rinse and repeat. The most important thing here is, once you've been through this lesson, go and select your 3 hot opportunities. That's it for this lesson. Take care.